There.
Get up, wake up, this is your final warning. It's time for midnight sets in the morning. The gang is ready to go and it's time for the show. It's time for midnight sets in the morning.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Midnight's Edge in the Morning. And joining me this morning so far is Mr. Chris Brawley of Bleeding Fool fame. How's it going?
It's going great, Andre. I'm glad to be here. Glad we could get together on this happy hump day and talk all the big news that's been happening in the last 24 hours.
Indeed, it has been a wild 24 hours, I have to say. I mean, we have merger with threats flying back and forth, both from the state of LA to Ellison and from Ellison and back. We'll get into that. We have Kevin Smith threatening to pull a Masters of the Universe on not just Marvel but Star Wars as well, two for the price of one. And on top of that, we have ever more indications and reports that Zack Snyder is really desperate to get back into the DC operation. So we'll see how all of that plays out. But you know what? Let's start by saying greetings to everyone here. We have Jill Powers, who was the first one here today. So yeah, welcome. And Grimzilla was the second. And after that, of course, who is counting, but we also have a hazy enigma here. Lord Toth is here. Mr. Tickletrunk is here, asking everyone to share the stream link. Indeed, please do.
Oh, please, yeah.
Yeah, we have Davina Duckworth is here. Very happy to see you here. Always a pleasure. We have Kaladen here. War Monkey is here. And many, many others. Glad to see you all rolling in. And again, yeah, please smash that like. Do help share that we are indeed live. As we are about to get into some of the stories here. First one is a real doozy, one that I didn't really have on my bingo card. Actually, there's many things today that I did not have on my bingo card, but one of them was Kevin Smith making a big return to the realm of comics. And not for writing He-Man comics, he's probably done with that after all the damage that he did to that brand. Although, to be fair, it was mostly Ted BSL who did the damage. But he is back at Marvel, where he has written some Daredevil before, maybe other stuff as well. I just know of Daredevil. And he is writing Star Wars crossed over with the Marvel characters. Hope assembles. I fail to be very hopeful about this. Chris, what is this thing? What is this abomination we're seeing right here?
Well, so apparently Marvel has listened to some of the people who have said, look, it's obvious that the only way you're going to start selling comics again is just go ahead and mash up your Star Wars license and your characters, your popular characters. So I'm expecting Squirrel Girl to defeat Darth Vader in this iteration of Kevin Smith's, of all people, right? It's Kevin Smith who is getting to pen this. So there may even be some doubts as to if it will ever get finished. If anybody knows anything about Kevin Smith's history in comics at Marvel, there were some long delays in some of his previous Daredevil work specifically, which actually turned out to be a pretty decent story. I'm sure they'll have some guardrails up with Kevin's. Well, no, I can't say that. I would put some.
Well, this is Marvel Comics, and to the extent of which there are, I'm sure there must be some kind of guardrails, but when you look at some of their last output of the last 15 years or so, 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can't imagine what those guardrails are, because they do seem quite fond of destroying their own characters pretty darn badly.
Mm-hmm. They've got Doom front and center with, in the background there, as well as over here with Darth Vader, with Thanos behind it. They've got Venom, they've got Wolverine, Chewbacca, Groot, Luke, Leia. What I did not see, and there may be someone in the chat that sees it, but I do not see anything from the prequel or sequel trilogy in here. I'm seeing classic stormtroopers. I'm seeing Darth. I'm seeing Moff Tarkin. I'm seeing Greedo. I'm seeing Han, Chewie, Luke. I'm seeing the classic ships, classic TIE fighters. This is the classic original trilogy celebrating its 1977 is the 50th year of Star Wars' release. So it's timed properly. They would probably be foolish not to do something like this. They'll probably even do some kind of amalgamation thing eventually, because this won't be the last time they do this. Once they've popped the cherry on this idea, they're gonna dive into it, especially if it sells. And I'm fairly certain this first issue will probably sell very well, and they may even have 100 variant covers for it. Who knows?
That I was about to say, because they're going to do everything they can to fake this. Because here's like the thing. As far as I understand, we viewers or readers, we are never told the actual number of issues sold to readers.
That's right.
What we are told is number of issues shipped to retailers. And that includes total issues, and they count all of the different variants. You're right. There's going to be variants through the roof on this one. I don't really understand why, because there's not going to be any kind of value in this in the second hand market whatsoever. But it's going to be like, hey, if you want this one special cover for your one freak who comes to buy everything and he must have the special edition stuff, you need to buy all these other 50 stuff. So that way, Disney, they get to say, we shipped 50 covers to or 50 issues to that one store, where 3 issues are going to be sold. Now, do that across the entire nation. That's how you're able to, like, say, well, records broken, million shipped. 1 million weren't shipped or sold to the customers.
Oh, no. They'll be piling up in the back rooms of many comic shops that still chase these variants. Some of these variants, you have to buy a large quantity of the books just to even qualify to be able to purchase the variants. So I have no.
Are you allowed to return the unsold books?
They're unreturnable. No, these are still unreturnable. Marvel has not made it, to the best of my knowledge. Marvel has not made them returnable. And to your point about them reporting how many issues shipped, they don't even do that anymore. They don't even keep up with the numbers in a public way. There used to be a great website called Comicron that would track sales, and you could sort of see the sales chart every month, what was doing great, and how issues would fall off. Very similar in many ways to the website that Culture takes us to on Mondays, the numbers for movies.
Yeah, it sounded like the numbers for comics.
Yeah, it exactly was, but that information is no longer available. So there is something similar. I think there's a few hundred comic shops that do share their POS, and that's point of sale for the chat numbers, what they're selling at their front counter. And these stores have been sort of selected where if they're selling it, then it's probably selling elsewhere. So it's really speculative, just like the comic industry has become. But this is, it's super gimmicky. I know they're going to try to bring some people back. It's clear that they know that the audience doesn't want to see Rey and doesn't want to see, a resurrected Palpatine, I guess. I mean, at least this cover art. Now, Marvel did put out a press release that I can show you here to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. It's Star Wars Marvel Hope Assemble's first ever crossover, launches in January 27 to time with that 1977 anniversary. It's got David Marquez, who I think is a great artist. It's a 5-issue limited series. Single story, first time, probably going to be, the people in our chat are not impressed. I'm not impressed either. I think we're all kind of on the same page, but they're trying to say Marvel is the world outside your window. They use this world outside your window a couple of times in this press release.
Oh, they're
And
trying to reflect what the real world looks like?
yes,
Is that what they're saying?
that's exactly right. That's why
Or some
they've been,
variation thereof?
well, they've pushed diversity, and that sort of came with their diversity push many years ago. That's why you have more and more gay marriages, gay couples, and people of different shades of melanin than you and I cropping up everywhere. Which, on the one hand, I guess it's fine, but I don't know how many comics it's moving, because they have been losing money hand over fist for years, ever since they implemented it.
I think we can say that representation is completely fine, but it
Sure.
should be relative to the population. And the problem for, well, any kind of media, not just comics, not just movies, not just TV series, but it's wild and ridiculous over representation. I mean, where basically there was like a point there where they ran the risk of people just deciding, you know what, I'm not going to read superhero comics anymore because they're gay, because
Yeah.
everyone in it is gay.
Well, and that's happened. You've had a lot of people that have just sort of bailed out. I think DC Comics, when they were putting their Superboy rather, character on the front cover, making out with a purple-haired boy. It
Yeah.
really, and that went global. I mean, the thing
Oh,
is
totally.
these comics are now global. These are global brands. People all over the world know who Captain America is, and who Superman is, and who Spider-Man is. That's why the Spider-Man movie is doing so well right now. I want to read this quote from Kevin Smith. He is one of those, and I'm quoting, lifelong lover of both franchises. He says, back in the early 80s, I had a subscription to Marvel's Star Wars comics. And as fun as it was to follow the adventures of Luke, Leia, and Han, I always wished that Spider-Man or Doctor Doom could cross over into their cinematic saga. So when the opportunity arose to actually tell that story, nobody had to force my hand. I'm ecstatic to be writing Hope Assembles for the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. Many thanks to Marvel Comics and Lucasfilm for trusting me to fly the Falcon and the Quinjet. So this is a dream come true moment. Once again, it sounds very similar to kind of what he was saying about He-Man when he was handed the keys to that franchise, if you'll recall.
Well, the difference is, though, that I actually do believe that he is a fan of Star Wars at
Yes,
any
I do
rate.
too. Yeah.
Because his entire past work is filled with references to Star Wars.
100%.
And there's enough Marvel references in his past work as well that I can well believe that he is a fan of Marvel comics. Now, He-Man, that's where he basically just completely ruined himself.
And he lied to us. Yeah.
He did.
Mhm.
And it would be far better to say, well, to be honest, to say I wasn't really that big a fan. I was too old for it, but I'll do my best. Everyone would have been fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
No one would have mind. Like, you are not required to be this massive fan to take something on, but you are required to, if you're not, be honest about it and why you are the best person for the job anyway.
That's right. It's unclear if these are the covers to each issue in the 5-issue series. I'm guessing.
I think, yeah, that would shock me. These are likely variant covers of the first issue.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think too.
And it's going to be like, you collect them all so you can display them on the wall and get like this huge.
Yeah. I think I've always wanted to see a Deadpool and Obi-Wan Kenobi team up, haven't you?
There are many team ups with Deadpool that I have wanted to see, but I do have to admit the one with Obi-Wan Kenobi is relatively far down on that list.
Yeah, this is it's a cash grab. We all know what this is, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I honestly, I cannot blame Marvel and Disney for doing it. It had to happen sooner or later. It is going to be, I'm sure, as bad as we expect. I remember, I think it was 2015 when Marvel finally got the license back from Dark Horse Comics. I think Dark Horse Comics was doing, they
got everything from Dark Horse. I mean, and some of the stuff was far better off there, like Alien and Predator, because this is something that isn't communicated enough. You now have Alien and Predator crossing into the Marvel universe. You have that
Mhm.
multiple Predator versus, and to be fair, those things have actually worked pretty well in the comics in the past.
Yeah.
Like for instance, even Judge Dredd versus Aliens is a pretty darn
It's
decent read.
fantastic. It's
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah. There's a
absolutely it
Judge
is.
Dredd Batman that's really good. There's a
There's
great,
three of them.
yeah, that's right. There's a great Predator Tarzan crossover. I don't know if
Oh
you're familiar
wow.
with. Yeah, it's fantastic. And so crossovers can work. I just feel like another great one was the Superman Terminator. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's fantastic. And
That
RoboCop
one is
Terminator.
news to me.
Yeah.
The one that is one of the best there's ever been is RoboCop versus Terminator by Frank
Yeah,
Miller. That
that
thing's
is Frank Miller
incredible.
and Simonson. Walt Simonson did the art on that. It's
Yeah, that
fantastic.
could well be. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an incredible one. That's
There have been
so good.
some there have been some really great crossovers in the past. So this might work, maybe if they started with Groot or some sort of Guardians of the Galaxy, making that the portal, the bridge between the universes. I could see that potentially happening. But
Just
something,
use the multiverse. I mean, you have it right
well,
there, right? You
obviously.
see, like all the multiverses branching there. You can extend into the DC universe. You've also had like multiple Marvel and DC crossovers over the
Mm,
years.
yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah,
right. So, I mean, it had to happen sooner or later. I don't blame
yeah.
Marvel for doing it. It's going to sell a bunch of pulp for them, and it's probably going to be awful. But you know, it is
Yeah.
what it is. Kevin Smith's got the keys to another franchise. Let's see what he does with it. See how it works out
And
for him.
on the beauty, it's just in the comics, so it don't
Yeah.
really matter because you can kind of like retcon it out of existence afterwards anyway.
Mhm.
So yeah, have at it and have fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, weirder things than that have happened in the comics. Speaking of like great crossovers, another tremendously good one that started it all, the original Alien versus Predator. That may be the best crossover there ever was.
Agreed. Yeah, that first one was fantastic. I remember.
Too bad they
Uh,
botched it in the 2004 movie.
Yeah, but that's what got me excited for that 2004 movie was the comic. I remember
Because
that.
everyone was excited
Yeah,
because of the comic.
it was such a clever idea, and Dark Horse really they did so many great crossovers, but that
They
one
did.
that launched it, and they did so well with both franchises on their own. And that one was really good, and it had a female protagonist in it, just sort of which the movie kind of dipped into a little bit.
Yeah, they
Really
just
well done.
botched it completely.
Yeah, well, not as bad. You thought they botched it completely, and then they did a sequel. It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, so you thought we botched it the first time? Well, hold
Hold
our
my
beer. We're going to
beer.
show
Yeah.
you botching it.
But this it makes sense to do. There have been great crossovers. I don't think this will be one of them, but I know a lot of our readers at Bleeding Fool will check this out. They enjoyed the big DC Marvel crossovers that just happened, and even a little bit. Predator has even crossed over with the Archie comics. As ridiculous as that sounds.
The
So
Punisher has
Dracula
crossed
and
over with
Frankenstein
Archie
want
comics.
their title back, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's
You
actually.
guys are like, that's the first time no, this has been happening for years.
oh yeah,
In
yeah,
fact,
it's
Yeah,
always
that's
been,
what
it's
we
Robert
were
been
E.
getting
talking
Howard
about.
better.
crossed over his own characters, didn't he, at some points?
Oh, totally. The Robert E. Howard
Yeah,
characters are a shared universe, and it crosses over with Lovecraft. So it's
that's
actually
right.
part of the
That's
Lovecraft shared
unofficial
universe.
though.
Yeah, it's unofficial,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, these kinds of things are fun because what these do is they kind of dip into the imagination. Because think about it, kids that were at our age that played with Star Wars toys, action figures back in the day, probably also had a Spider-Man or a Captain America. And when you're just playing with your toys, you can just bring them all in together. It doesn't matter, right? Toy Story has created a whole new franchise based on you bringing in toys from different IPs and just playing with them, right? So that's really all this is.
Get ready for all sorts of stuff that Kevin Smith thinks is clever.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Yes, Kevin Smith is a Marvel and comic fan. And yes, he's a big Star Wars fan. But he's not the same Kevin Smith he was 20 years ago.
No.
And the only reason they're doing this is just so he keeps sucking their dick. Let's be real.
You think?
Yeah, this is a gimme for him. You think they're going to give him a real movie?
No,
Even
no,
a TV show? The closest he came was a Howard the Duck TV show. This is so stupid, but whatever. Fuck Kevin Smith and his stupid fanboy bullshit. Good for him.
Yeah.
He has shilled his way into doing this. He got his wish, his childhood dream. I'm sure his 8-year-old self is giddy as fuck. Good for him. I remember when he used to be a fucking fan with some real fucking balls. You know, the guy who would sit there and go, what happened to all the guys on the Death Star that weren't stormtroopers and died? Right. You know, he used to come up with shit like that was actually kind of clever, or stuff that we would actually talk about or discuss. You know, and his takedown of the Lord of the Rings. You can love the Lord of the Rings, but goddamn, if Randall didn't fucking rip into those Lord of the Rings like nobody's business, that was Kevin. That's the same bit he did on stage.
Oh,
the exact same bit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I mean, he used to do the exact same bit in his stand-up routines, but like whatever you call it, his Q&A routines. But it slowly became a stand-up routine, basically. No, this guy used to be the king of the nerds, and we crowned him the king of the nerds. That's wasn't like Oswald Cobblepot fucking what's his face. Gosh. No, Oswald, he was a real king of nerds. Yeah. And then one day he just turned into this fucking thing that he is now, and that's this Hollywood machine that just pumps out the same bullshit as they do and sucks their dick and just wants to eat at the same table, and he's happy to get the little scraps and sit at the kiddie table.
Oh, he's a corporate shill, obviously.
He is. He's totally, that's all he is.
I would like to see a crossover of Patton Oswalt versus Kevin Smith. Maybe somebody should do that comic book.
There you go. Sad part is I'd probably root for Kevin still.
Yep. You know what? I totally agree. Totally agree.
Although no matter who wins, we both lose.
That's right. Everyone
in Parks and Recreation, he did have this really incredible Star Wars versus Marvel crossover thing planned.
Overrated as fuck.
Scene. Well, let's see if he can do better.
That's his claim to fame. That would put him on the nerd map. Yeah, because Andre's correct. That's what everybody remembers about him. What else is there about Patton Oswalt other than he killed his wife? Allegedly.
Yeah,
allegedly. Okay.
Yeah, Patton, that did put him on the map, and it was mildly clever, but it's also overrated because everybody has just praised and praised and praised it.
Was he having an affair or something?
No. His Star Wars rant on
his wife. It was a whole thing like where she was in the middle of depression. He's the one that ended up having the affair, I believe. But I don't remember all the details now. It was so long ago, but
yeah, it's been a few.
But she was the one who wrote on Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now the rumor goes is they were having a breakup in the background, and she was having issues with it. And let's not go much farther than that, but that's basically what happened. Let's say.
Well, okay. Yeah. Well, that's
she pulled an Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. No. It was a heart condition or something.
Was it? I thought she died. Oh,
no. It was ruled I
thought she took too many meds.
Accidental death, right? So there was something about prescription medications.
And, that was an accident. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right. Yeah. So she did kind of unalive herself, according to
like I said.
Accidentally unalived herself, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go on.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's go dark fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd fuck Patton Oswalt. I'm probably making shit up. I don't give a shit. Hyper Guyver says, who cares? Star Wars and Marvel are both lame and gay now. Exactly. Fitting for current year Kevin Smith. Exactly. So it'll be like nothing has changed.
Yeah. Well, it's on brand.
And Kevin Smith will be like, Leia was really the hero the whole time. Just watch me. I'll fucking make her awesome.
You're mixing your Kevin Smith in with that other Canadian.
He's the same fucking dude. That's the thing people don't understand. Seth Rogen and Kevin Smith are the same fucking guy. They make the same fucking shit. The only thing that he did that was different was that Superbad was a huge fucking box office hit and Mallrats wasn't. That's the only difference. He had 40-Year-Old Virgin. Fucking Kevin Smith had Clerks. That was their big debuts. But their follow-ups, it was the fucking follow-up that fucked that up for Kevin Smith. Seth Rogen is basically just the Kmart version of what Timu Smith is, basically, right?
So when you did your impression of Seth Rogen, I got to be honest with you. Initially, it sounded like Danny McBride to me.
They're both a bunch of fucking stoners, just like Danny McBride. They're all three the same fucking guy. They all three have the same fucking gimmicks, and they think they're all fucking clever too. Give them a horror franchise, and they think they're awesome.
Well, the first Halloween was okay, I thought.
Anybody could have made that in their fucking sleep. Anybody, you go back and look at it, though, that doctor is the stupidest fucking character ever in the history of movies. He puts on the mask and decides he's Michael Myers all of a sudden. What the fuck is this shit?
Well, yeah, the sequel.
And who was the fucking bright-ass idiot who had the idea to bring back Jamie Lee Curtis and not put her in the fucking role of Loomis in the future? Right? Like, duh. You don't have a Loomis. What do you got? You got Jamie Lee Curtis. If you're going to change your fucking character, and if you're going to make him not give a fuck who she is, well, then now she knows everything about him, and if she's obsessed with him, bingo, she's your new Loomis. Yep. Ding, ding, ding. You fucked that whole thing up now, didn't you? That's what I mean. They can't get past the opening gates. They're like J.J. Abrams all over again, just funny.
Yep, they can start strong. They just can't stick the landing.
The best movie that fucking Seth Rogen has done in years is that Nanjanami movie that fucking what's his face directed. That was the movie the one I always forget the name of that I liked. One with Keanu Reeves. Where's the Angel? Good Fortune.
Yeah, the Angel.
Yeah, and that was the movie that came out of the wake of the Bill Murray movie that toppled over, and basically all the cast of that jumped ship and went and made this movie. With that one dude, I'm forgetting his name. It was his debut or whatever, his directorial debut.
Good Fortune was the movie.
Good Fortune, not Nanjiani, the other guy. I forget his name.
Aziz Ansari.
Yeah, Aziz Ansari. That's it. Yes. Yeah, this one here. Yeah, Aziz Ansari. You're right.
Yeah. So yeah,
there's your Kevin Smith rant.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's excited about this other than CB Cebulski. It'll be the last thing he does as editor in chief before he leaves Marvel. So
it's a gimmick. It's like you said, it's the anniversary of Star Wars. They've got to do something. They can't really do much else.
Indeed. So yeah,
they're going to re-release the original film. That's it.
Cash grab.
Well, I actually have to say that's a better anniversary than what Star Trek got.
You're not wrong in a way. Flying Blind on a Rocket Cycle says, good day. Oh, well, good day to you, Flying Blind. And Iron Morgan says, if I were part of the melanin abundant community, I would be saying, where's Lando in that Marvel Star Wars poster?
Huh? Oh, wait a minute. We need
also, where are my reparations?
Let's look at that again.
Well, this is the original Star Wars, so that's what they'll use as an example, right?
Oh, yeah, right. Lando wasn't in
exactly. My question is, where's Obi-Wan? There's
Obi-Wan's on one of the
he's there. He's the.
So real quick, just for
where?
I'll share this
image,
right
but
here.
We have another image with him with Deadpool.
There he is.
Yeah.
Teaming up with Deadpool. Yeah.
Yeah. And Daredevil.
And of course, Deadpool's with the Jawas.
That's right. And these are the five of the soon to be announced 100 covers for this first issue.
They should put Deadpool in Boba Fett's place.
Oh yeah, that
would be hilarious.
But again, Boba Fett not until Empire, so he's not in any of these.
Which version?
Oh, good point.
He's in the special edition.
He looks at the camera. Those out. I think next year they're wiping them out because with the re-release of A New Hope, I wonder if they're even going to take off the episode for A New Hope from the title screen.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, but here's the thing with that is if they actually embrace those, I doubt it.
Mm.
But it'd be nice.
I don't know. I don't know either.
Did we read that last one?
We did.
Okay.
We did.
And did we have anything on the Rumble side so far? No, we do.
Haven't checked.
I don't know. Do check. But meanwhile, while you check that, we do have some other stories here to go through.
Yeah, there's the Warner Brothers one, and then there's also the fact that nobody's talking about the Batman 2 not coming out until February of 2028. I guess you did a story about
in our
this.
most recent video, actually.
I don't even remember you saying that because I'm just like, well, how the fuck? Why so long?
Because that means that James Gunn, even if he is still there, he's not going to get his Batman on screen until 2029, and that is assuming there is no Batman part 3 or the Batman part 3. So yeah, that's.
I don't know,
That's
it
the
just
thing.
dawned on me and nobody was talking about it, but I was like, wow, that's a long fucking time. Why is
Yeah.
Matt Reeves the slowest fucking director ever to do anything?
He is slow, but I can't help but think that they've kind of hemmed him in a little bit by
6 years it'll be between films.
that's ridiculous. But I think once Gunn came on, there was probably a lot of flux, and they're like, okay, well, hang on before we
Well,
move forward, blah, blah, blah.
There was a chance where he wasn't going to make it at all, and then the Penguin saved his ass. And I think that's
Yeah.
been the big thorn in the side of James Gunn is he can't do anything without his big gun right now.
And I told everyone the whole time, Gunn does not want a competing Batman to his own. Because he
Right.
said the whole time he wanted to streamline all of DC to make it all consistent. And and then you have this Matt Reeves thing on the side that undermines everything that he is doing. And I do have to say that actually reminds me a little bit about when J.J. Abrams was running Star Trek, and he was frustrated because he couldn't get CBS to just cut out all of this vintage Star Trek stuff that they earned too much money on. They kept on releasing merch in the likeness of that, and it undermined his Star Trek. And that's part of the reason why he bailed the Star Trek ship and left over for Star Wars, because he felt that they were in competition with themselves. And that is exactly what you have going on over at DC. They are in competition with themselves, because James Gunn isn't competing just with Marvel, he's competing with the other DC, with the Matt Reeves DC.
Well, I knew they'd never come out at the same time, right? But to me, it just I can't believe that they went with this route. It just makes no sense to me. And it's how long they're taking. I mean, fucking Pattinson's gonna be collecting Social Security by the time this movie comes out.
It's really strange too that it is happening at all. You know what I mean? Like there's already been so many weird things with Warner Brothers and James Gunn coming on and the DCU and all this, that the most valuable character you have, I mean, double whatever Superman is, right? Batman is the top tier character over there, and they can't get a movie made. It's mind boggling.
Well, that's the weird thing too, because like I said, from what I had heard initially is that the reaction to the first film, they were expecting $1 billion. Now, were they unhappy with what it made? No, but they were still expecting $1 billion.
Like 900 or something?
No, it only did like 700 some, I think it was, maybe closer to 8.
Okay.
But the point being is that it also was 3 hours long and all that kind of stuff. So there was issues that needed to be addressed. Now, the only reason I think that it still happened was because there had to be some contractual obligation to do it if there were certain situations or things that came into place. And maybe Matt Reeves had, the ability to invoke something and or pull out at some point if he wanted to. But that being said, they decided to go forward with it because of the Penguin, was my understanding. But the funny thing is the Penguin's hardly going to be even in the second film from what I heard. So I don't even know what the case is or not, but I don't know. And the other thing that's weird about this is it almost felt like Colin Farrell was doing the Penguin so he could do his Sergeant Rock show or movie. Yeah. And now that's not happening either. So I have no idea what.
And I don't know. I mean, as much as I would like to see a Sergeant Rock, I mean, back here I've got an artist edition of DC Comics, War Comics. I love that stuff, but there was not going to be any way that made good sense to incorporate him into what they were doing with their capes and cowls and superpowers.
No, but it also feels like there's some sort of like thing that came into play here, because otherwise, why would you make a deal if you're James Gunn, knowing you can't use your big gun until this is done and over with? Like that to me feels like what Disney and Marvel had to deal with initially when they didn't have Spider-Man. And the deal almost feels like a poison pill, more like Kurtzman, to where it's like they're stuck dealing with this and doing this. And maybe Warner Brothers is happy to do it now because it's the only thing they've got. But to me, it's like, you should be just, this movie should have been out 3 years ago. What is going on here? That's my thing. It's like, I don't care if there's a sequel. It's just, frankly, to me, I don't think it's going to do what they think it's going to do. And I don't think that it's garnered that big of an audience in the meantime. Because I've met more people who have disliked it since they've seen it than have liked it. But
I've not heard anyone just going crazy about the Batman at all.
not nearly on the level like the Snyder Bros are over just because he had a screening. It's a lot. Everybody's freaking out thinking.
Well, not even that. Not anything like even Christopher Nolan's Batman. It's still held in much higher regard than anything with this Matt Reeves thing.
That's the thing. Batman should be $1 billion property, period.
Yeah, it should.
I mean, he's the second most famous superhero in the world.
Absolutely.
Well, to be fair, he has only ever been that twice, though, and that was The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. Those are the only times in history where
Michael Keaton.
You're forgetting the 80s, my friend. I was gonna say Batman has been number one since then. Like,
if you were to adjust for inflation, would that be $1 billion movie?
Absolutely.
It may be.
Yes, absolutely, so. It would, because I've done the inflation on
count merch. I mean, good God.
I've done all the inflation on all the superhero movies, and I believe it would actually technically beat Superman, because I think it would be the first one. I think Superman just barely falls off just below it. And then the second film, the problem with Superman 2 is that they didn't do the box office the way they did by the time you get to 1989, right? Because Superman 1, still all the money that it claims, most of that money is U.S. money. Nobody's ever really reported the actual amount that Superman 1 has actually made all over the world, because the rights were so split up, right? So like it was a real funky thing. And the second film, the way that the movie is claimed, it would be a bomb. As much money as that the databases claim that Superman 2 has made, and I know it made a hell of a lot more than that. So Superman 3, on the other hand, that was a whole nother story. I think that one only did like 80 million, I think, overall. But still, even back in 83, that was a lot. Right, because that's what Selkine and what's his face will remind you is that Superman 3 didn't kill the franchise. It was Superman 4 they claim, but it's actually it was Supergirl. Let's be real. Yeah, Supergirl came out and that fucking tanked, and everybody was like done with that shit. And then Batman saved that, but then we didn't have any superhero movies again that did anything until X-Men. X-Men was the next time we had anything, and then you had Spider-Man, boom, boom, and that's what started the modern. What we're in the middle of now still, or in the midst of, or the end of, that craze started there. So 89, throughout 89 through the early aughts, Spider-Man and Batman were like neck and neck as far as popularity. The only thing that brought Spider-Man back up again was that 1990s cartoon. If it wasn't for that, Batman was kicking his ass between the movies, TV, comic books. Like you were talking about that Comixology thing or whatever it is that you talked about where they showed the top comics. Yeah. Do you realize at one point there was like 5 or 6 different Batman titles that were all in the top 10?
Top 10.
Because that's all DC would pump out was Batman titles.
It was him and Spider-Man.
Yeah, Dark Knight. Yeah, all of them were the top 10 were basically all Spider-Man, Batman, and maybe I think an Avenger title or something like that.
Yeah, Avengers or Justice League would wind up in there. I was just looking at them adjusted for inflation, and the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises are both in that 1.5 billion, but Superman adjusted for inflation 78 is 1.45 billion. Aquaman is 1.4 billion. Joker 1.3 billion, and Batman 89 is between 80 million and $1 billion. So it's in that range.
There's a lot of money they're not putting in there too. That's the
but
thing.
Still,
with Batman.
That's significant. That's huge.
Let's not forget the fact that Batman sold about as many videos as it made in the box office.
Oh, the VHS. Yeah.
Yes. See, that's the other thing they're not putting in there. Just like Lion King. Lion King. Yeah, sure. It says $500 million for its box office, but that movie's made well over $1 billion by the time you factor in all the home videos. See, because they don't make the kind of money they used to on home, like they did for home video. Like that's the thing is I don't understand with the streaming stuff. We've talked about it for years, and that'll get us to our next topic here, because like they're pretending like the streaming thing is the next thing in Hollywood. It's like, are you fucking insane? This is still not going to go anywhere, whether you want it to or not. Right. And one of the big reasons we see this is because Paramount Plus and Warner Brothers, once they combine, we're going to be losing one of those streamers. They're going to have to
I think we'll lose Plus. They're not going to get rid of HBO.
They already said that they're going to combine HBO Max and Paramount Plus, and it's going to be Paramount Plus.
That's an insane decision, but they did say that. But they're not bound by that. They can.
No, but I think it's pretty stupid. It's just as stupid as changing HBO Max to Max.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
mistakes have been made
HBO now. Why are you not like that's like buying McDonald's and turning it into a Burger King? What the fuck are you doing? You
No,
already
it's
got the
more
home
like
Big
you
Mac.
already have Wendy's, you buy McDonald's, and now you are going to
Name it
Whatever the
McDonald's
scenario.
into
Yeah.
Wendy's.
Well, that's basically
That
the
would
same
be
thing I
the
just
better
said,
one.
right? It's literally the same thing I just said. But anyhow,
With
former
the
Disney.
exception of Burger King actually being a big thing.
This wasn't what I
worldwide.
thought it was, but okay. I thought we were going
Yeah.
to be talking about the merger, but no,
We
this is
will.
Bob Iger.
We will,
Yeah.
we will. But before then, we have another fun story on the side here, because Bob Iger, he evidently isn't so much involved with Disney anymore, because he just bought a majority stake in the LA Lakers with a record 12 to 1.5 billion he paid for this majority.
Oh, he's in his
stake.
Pink Floyd phase. He bought himself a football
But
team.
he
Good for
didn't
him.
buy it on his own. He bought it with Joshua Kushner. Joshua Kushner being the brother of Jared Kushner. So this is
Is he sleeping with the
coming.
enemy? Is Bob sleeping with the enemy? What is going on here?
Yeah, it's his brother. They're going to be purchasing the LA Lakers.
What's next, a Learjet?
It's going to be a record sale. I don't know how much the last sale. I guess it was around 10 billion or so. But
It's
the
a
LA
gas.
Lakers. This is crazy.
What was the last movie mogul guy to own? And I'm trying to remember. There was somebody who owned like.
I figure this is something that you guys would know more. To me, I'm just surprised. Like, I'm not tremendously surprised that Bob Iger bought some sports stuff, because he's done that before. I don't remember exactly what.
Yeah,
but he
this
bought
is
some
not
like women's soccer or something
out of
like
the
that.
ordinary.
I'm
No.
more surprised that he did it with the brother of Jared Kushner.
That's the more surprising point. Yes, I agree with you. Because yeah, this is like I was joking with the Pink Floyd song. Like, yeah, this is just another level of the, the money song, to where you buy a Learjet, you buy a football team. What's next? What else can I buy? There's nothing else left to buy, right?
Doesn't Ryan Reynolds own a sports
He
team?
owns, a soccer team. But there's been other movie moguls and people in the past that have, owned, I think, parts of the Lakers and or Cowboys and other sports teams and baseball teams, especially.
Here's the thing, that Ryan Reynolds, he did something really clever, because he not only bought a failing British soccer team, he did a reality series about it, which is quite popular in Europe.
Which is kind of how, in a roundabout way, I know it's not related, but like how Matt Stone, when they bought Casa Bonita to help pay for the stuff that they had to do, they ended up with that documentary, but they still, I think, have to charge out the ass to make money on it. But yeah, it's just, amortize it. What else are you going to do?
Yeah. Iger also co-owns, I think, with his wife, a women's soccer team.
Well,
Yeah, that's what
Disney used to have the Ducks, but then they sold them. I can't remember who to, but they were the Anaheim Ducks, Mighty Ducks.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, and of course,
that was
nice little movie.
What's his face, babe? Well, that was based on the movie. That was the guy before Eisner. That was his
Anaheim
baby.
Angels and the Mighty Ducks.
Yep, those were his two babies. Yep, because
Yeah.
they did the Angels in the outfield and they did the Mighty Ducks, and that inspired.
I think Bruckheimer owned a hockey, or part of a hockey
That
team.
wouldn't surprise. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of these. Like, this is nothing. Like, Andre's right. Like, this is not abnormal.
Yeah.
Especially for somebody like Bob Iger's level. He's going to probably buy 3 more. Just like him.
You remember Ari Emanuel? I know we're about to start talking about the Warner
There
Brothers.
you go.
Yeah.
Entourage, yeah.
He
The
owns,
character.
part of the Las Vegas.
If you watch the last few seasons of Entourage, it basically covers how he got that to happen. It's the loose adaptation, but yeah, it's Ari's whole thing is he's trying to get a football team.
Right.
Yep.
Right. That was a fun show for its time.
Oh, it was
I enjoyed
a lot more revealing than I think people realize.
Might be worth a rewatch.
Especially now that you see where Marky Mark has taken his own career to where he's just kind of like doing his own thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he can afford to do his own thing. So that's the other thing.
Speaking of Marky Mark, I noticed Angel Studios has been heavily promoting that they've got Deepwater Horizon now streaming on their platform, and it had, it showed Kurt Russell, and it showed what's his name, a couple of the big
Mark
actors.
Wahlberg.
Yeah,
Mark
Wahlberg,
Wahlberg,
and gosh, what's the guy's name that? John Malkovich. And I thought, I think I've seen this movie. This isn't a new movie. Of course, it's not. It's like 2016
No, it's
or
like,
something like that.
yeah, it's about 10 years old.
It's interesting though that they're promoting it like it's
Well, that goes with my streaming thing, like I was telling you before. Well, like, what do these streamers really think they've accomplished now? They're basically just paying for each other's content.
Yep.
Right. It's exactly what I said to begin with. They looked at Netflix. They're like, oh, we want one of those because they're making all this money. Look at how much money we're paying Netflix, or how much money they're paying us. I mean, like, people should be paying us. Well, then instead they didn't realize that they're making all the content themselves to be able to make this money. That nobody's paying them now to make this content. Right? They're paying themselves to make this content.
Yeah.
So there's no other outlet. So now they're just licensing it all to each other. Right? Every time I flip something on, I see a Warner Brothers movie on Disney Plus, or I see a Disney movie on Peacock, and it's like, what the hell's going on here? And that's where I'm sure people are just tuning out from it. I just read a story a little while back here. I was looking for Andre for another thing we were working on, where people were where it was a whole story about where people were tuning out from streaming, cutting the streaming cord now, and moving back into DVD and other means of home video, because for various reasons we could get into that would take a while. Sure. But yeah, so like this here with him, like, I agree with Andre to get it back around. Him buying this with a Kushner is a bigger deal. Because like I said, is he sleeping with the enemy here? Is this going to ostracize him from Hollywood? Look at the way Hollywood treats James Gunn just because he's working for Warner Brothers.
Yeah. I don't think Iger even cares. He's 75 years old. He's been knighted by the United Kingdom.
What did he ever do to deserve that?
And no, he didn't. But he joined Thrive Capital as soon as he left Disney earlier this year. I mean, so and Kushner is part of Thrive Capital. I mean,
he was a good servant for the cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the globalist cause. Lots of DEI. There's rewards for that. Not for the people getting fired, but for the people who initiated it and who made it happen. There's still rewards for them.
Yeah, he's one of, like you said, lords of DEI. He is one of those. Yeah,
exactly. And different rules apply. Right? Yeah, they'll go after James Gunn for just having the wrong employer. But they'll make exemptions for Bob Iger, because I'm sure there's plenty other Kushner dealings out there that involve people on the other side of the aisle that they don't want anyone.
So he's basically Sauron.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. So
there's Saruman,
that.
I should say, not Sauron. Saruman.
Saruman. I don't know how many of our viewers, though, care much about sports, but that is an interesting aspect to it, that it is co-owned with Jared Kushner's brother.
Well, then again, we don't know how political Jared Kushner's brother is either. We got to remember that as well. I mean, this is the first time I ever heard of the guy. So he might. Well,
I'm sure he's quite known in his own circles.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, is these guys are all a big circle jerk, and that's what South Park and other people have tried telling us for years anyway. As much as they act like they fucking hate each other, right? Like, Trump might be the first person in history that they actually do dislike.
Yeah.
And that's where why they're able to show this much hatred towards him.
Well, I think it's because he was friends with all of them.
Well, that too, but they because that's the thing, is it's not them, for one. Yeah. And he's not one of theirs to where he'll sit there and do what they say or they want. Now, I'm not saying he was the answer for everything. Don't get me wrong, because I'm not in any better shape now than I was 10 years ago. But yeah. Anyway, that being said, let's get into these super chats. Burnouts 3S3 says, say what you will about Jeffrey Katzenberg. It took guts to quit Disney from DreamWorks and form DreamWorks out of spite. Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon, Kung Fu Panda, and Prince of Egypt. Well, yeah, there is that. That's true. Did he quit, though, or did he just leave? Because I remember the issue is he thought he was going to be taking over, because he was basically being groomed to be the next president, and then he did not get that role.
Well, he probably had a ton of different offers, so he just had to take off the phone and say, "I'll take this one."
Katzenberg has a history like you wouldn't believe.
Difficult for him.
Yeah, I mean, if there was anybody who was remotely kind of close to, Bob Evans in the 80s, besides Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, it was probably Katzenberg, because that guy had a nose for a hit. Basically, all the hits that made Paramount the huge hit factory they were in the 80s, Katzenberg was most likely a part of them. Everything from Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop, you name it, he had some involvement at some level in that. And they wanted that magic over at Disney, and he did bring some of that magic to Touchstone. but then they just wouldn't let him have the crown. So he's like, fuck you, I'm going to go make my own, and I'm going to have blackjack and hookers. And what did he do? He made Shrek, and he made How to Train Your Dragon and all that stuff. And Prince of Egypt was not actually well received when it first came out.
It's fantastic. It was
considered a flop.
It's worth watching.
Oh, yeah.
So
now
good.
it is very well received. But at the time when it first came out, people forget how big of a flop it was, kind of. Yeah. Like, it was like, oh, this is what they're going to compete with Disney, is some religious stuff. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Like, that.
It was so well done. I mean, it's just so, and the songs, I mean, it's
now,
as good
like
as
I said,
Disney. Yeah, I know, you're right. No,
but when it first came out, it was not very well received. And then you also had Spirit, I think, was their follow-up to that. And they're just like, this just feels like somebody trying to make a Disney movie that's not Disney. And it wasn't until Shrek when things turned around, really.
Yeah, you're right.
But anyhow, that being said, there's another studio that's merging with another studio, and there's a lot of people upset about it.
Indeed.
And I can understand certainly why, but at the same time, I don't agree with the reasons why they're upset.
Especially the LAAG, the Attorney General in LA, is very, very cross with this whole acquisition between Warner and Paramount. It was perfectly okay when it was Disney acquiring Fox. Didn't have any issues then. That was good and well. But now, when it's the Ellisons who are close with Trump and CNN is part of the deal, now it's a very, very big deal for the Democrat attorney generals who are suing to stop. And of course, Ellison, he has shot back that if you don't let this go through, I just may take all of Paramount with me and leave the state. Because why would he want to be there when they clearly don't want him there? But he has a studio now. They can't stop that, so he's taking that with him. That is the gist of it. To which the LAAG has said, well, that only goes to show what a weak position you are. Take it, and we don't care because it's about Warner. That's a gist of what it goes through.
Real quick before you jump farther than that, I just want to bring up a point about 20th Century Fox. Where do you think that the last Predator and Alien movies were shot?
LA?
Nope. Canada and Budapest.
Oh, there you go.
So there was my point. Leading into my point is, since Disney has bought Fox, I don't think they've made hardly any movies in the United States that were Fox titles, if any. So that means they have done nothing but destroy a studio that used to make some of their films in the America, at least, Foxwood, and have completely wiped that off the table. So let's put that into consideration for a moment. They never even thought about that possibility. And now they're just freaking out just because he's talking about moving Warner Brothers and Paramount out of state. So yeah, let's get into this.
So I think it's interesting. This is over at Deadline, and I apologize. I'm having to use the reader version of this because Deadline's website sucks. Let's just leave it at that. And this, they're labeling this as breaking news, but really it's just an op-ed from the Attorney General of California explaining that this is just a cut and dry case here that we're pursuing. This 12-state all-Democratic coalition that's suing to block the merger on antitrust grounds. So the whole world has said it's okay. We got no problems with it, except these 12 Democratic AGs that say it's purely.
Well, I have problems with it, but not for their reasoning. But
no, you're right. They're just trying to stop it, and I think we all have concluded that it's mostly about CNN. But you even got Gavin Newsom, who's worried that it's going to drive jobs out of California. And so what this is in response to is Bonta, the Attorney General, is basically trying to cool the jets and say, hey, this is a totally legitimate antitrust lawsuit we filed, and everything you're hearing from David Ellison is just misinformation and side deals, and we intend to win. But this thing is naked.
David Ellison was the one who wrote the article that he should bow down to Kamala Harris, right?
Well, they were telling David Ellison he should bow down.
Yeah, it was an analyst or whatever saying that, if you want to make this deal go through, you should be buddying up with Kamala. But my point was that is they are showing their hand so hard, right?
Yes.
I've never seen such a bad poker player in my entire fucking life.
Can I just address that?
Go
this
for
is
it.
actually something that I don't think that an AG should be saying. We intend to win.
Yep.
This is
Put it
something
right
you
at the
say
end.
in private enterprise, but
Yep.
he's an AG representing the state. He should say something like, "We are interested in upholding the law," or something to that end. When he says,
Or
"We
we're worried
intend to
about the
win,"
impact it could have on the state or something like that. Yeah.
something like that. But when he's saying we intend to win, that implies we don't care about anything else. We just want to win. Jobs, all those other things don't matter. We just want to win. Because no matter what happens, say that they do win, say that fine, they block the merger, but now that means that the Ellisons are going to have to pay a fortune. They're going to be vindictive. They're going to take Paramount out of the state. That's a shit ton of jobs that will just be gone from LA forever. So big whoop, big win for the state, right? It would appear that the state AG doesn't care too much about that but he won the trial, and that's what he seems to care about. But there's no. I mean, this thing is getting ugly, and it's ugly for purely partisan reasons. And when you look at those that are very, very gung ho about and the AGs here, I saw like John Campia's stream was like also like very, very colored by the fact that politically they don't want Ellison to win this.
Oh, it's
I don't
clear.
give a fuck about the politics. My point is that I don't want the monopoly. I've seen this already happen in the music industry. I don't want it to happen to the. It's quickly happening to the movie industry, faster, twice as fast as it happened to the movie industry, and everything is falling exactly into the same place. And I can't believe it's like you saw exactly what happened to your friend, and you saw exactly how they fell apart and died, and now you're doing the exact same thing, making all the same mistakes all over again. And Ellison is part of the problem. Don't get me wrong here. Like I said, I'm against this for completely non-political reasons. It has everything to do with you're destroying this industry now because you're streamlining it down to where, guess what? We're going to have 3 studios. It's the same exact thing we have with music now.
Well, you're right. It would be about 30%. They would.
Lionsgate is going to get bought up by somebody. Let's be fucking real.
100%.
They're too small not to. And
2
Sony
years from now, Lionsgate doesn't exist anymore.
And Sony has no reason to hang on to Columbia Pictures for very much longer. And this is why I've been saying, you watch, they're going to sell Spider-Man back to Disney right before they sell the entire fucking studio off to Netflix. It's going to happen.
Well, it definitely, if it goes through, it will definitely make them, the number 1 or number 2 firm in Hollywood.
Well, because Sony doesn't give a shit about movies. Sony bought the movie Columbia Pictures in 1989. Why? Because their whole logic was, we make the VCRs and the videotapes that people watch these movies on. Why don't we have the movies that they watch them on too? It's the same reason they bought the fucking place or brought out the PlayStation. It's like, well, we make all these games and we have all these people and things that do all this products for. Why don't we just make our own? Because that's the way Sony has always been. And when I said, don't make no mistake about it, they know what their future is. Days are numbered, kids.
Oh, yeah.
They're done. They're not going to look back. They're doing exactly what Nintendo is doing, or not Nintendo, everybody else is doing, Xbox, I meant, to where they're like, you know what? Fuck the discs. We're just going to make them download. And if they don't like it, tough shit, then they just don't want to play the game because they'll do it. They'll pay $80 for a fucking game they used to pay $50 for. Trust me.
And there's not going to be any sunk cost by having to manufacture it. You're right.
Exactly.
But think about it, though. I mean, Bonta and these DOJs didn't seem to have any problem with Netflix, which is truly the biggest dominant tech streaming platform there is out there. And
that's the hypocrisy on the other side. That's what I'm saying. They're telegraphing their hand like a motherfucker. It's like, you don't give a shit about any of these other things.
The theatrical
you don't really
stuff,
care.
They don't care. Yeah,
you don't really care about Joe Job Nobody who works in craft services. All you give a fuck about is winning. Like Andre just said, this is about sticking it to Ellison because in weird way to you, it's some sick perverted way of sticking it to Trump.
That's exactly right.
Which, you know what? Fucking shame on them for making me stick up for him for so long.
That's a shame.
Because it's just bullshit. I don't care. I don't like politics any more than anybody else. I don't like politicians. I don't want politics in my fucking movies any more than I want fucking fish in my cereal. Right? Like, this is fucking ridiculous. And here's your second rant for the day. Honestly, I wish that this thing would have never went through in the first place. Like the whole thing
Right.
should have never went through. If they wanted to actually make a fucking example out of this, the government wanted to make an example out of monopolization, they shouldn't have let this happen to begin with.
Well, the thing is the DOJ already cleared this, right? The U.S. Justice Department.
That's my point. That's my whole point. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, they reviewed it. They cleared it. The EU has reviewed it and cleared it. Everyone's reviewed it and cleared it. But now Bonta's saying, no, we need to focus on protecting the theaters. We need to focus, and he's dismissing the 30 movies a year. This rant that Deadline has turned into some breaking news. This op-ed guest column from Bonta is just them doing more of the same, just like what you referred to when they were recommending he kiss.
There was actually a comment that Banta made to that end. I don't have the quote in front of me, but it was basically like, well, we don't really care about the behavior of him like making so many movies in LA. That's not so important. It's the structural thing, which is the issue here. Structural being code for CNN. This was my read of it. When really what he should care about is behavior. Will they keep making movies in LA? That should be their priority for an LA AG.
Why isn't he worried about any of the other studios making movies in LA? Sorry, Andre, to interrupt, but that was kind of my point to begin with. It was like, you let Disney buy Fox, and now they shut down a whole fucking studio, and all their movies, their big movies that they've made in the last 5-10 years have all been outside of the fucking country.
Yeah, but they were once of us, so it's cool.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
What's interesting here is sort of this argument that Bonta makes. He says, take, for example, Warner Brothers' Minecraft and Paramount Skydance's latest Mission Impossible, which were released in April and May of last year. If the two
last
companies,
of which was a huge bomb.
Right. If the two companies had already merged, would they have released these mega hits back to back, or would they have pushed one out? Would they both receive massive marketing budgets, or would one take a back seat? Would the production budgets for each one have stayed the same, or would one have been cut down? We can't know the answers, but these are the kinds of concerning questions with industry-wide impacts that our lawsuit intends to prevent. Competition is core to a thriving economy. I don't know. They're leaning on the Clayton Act, and Newsom is still saying that he wishes they would settle this. And Ellison is threatening, saying, look, you got till October 1st to settle this thing with us, or we're moving. And I believe that Ellison has probably crunched the numbers, and said, can we do this? And will it cost us less than paying $7 million a day?
There was talk of him leaving before any of this, too.
Was.
That's the thing. So, like, that's where
I'm
like,
already game theorying it out, don't you think?
In a weird way, it almost feels like he's just a kid holding his breath now, trying to make a threat that way, right? Like, it's like, dude, you're already making the same. This is part of the reason what probably started them to do this in the first place, right? Like, and I hate sounding like I'm making excuses for California, but at the same time, it's like, honestly, I don't remember them being able to do a whole hell of a lot until he started talking about uprooting and moving them out. Because I remember talking about that, 2 months ago now? We started talking about it here, where Ellison was hinting that he was thinking about just moving everything out of the state.
I think it was early July, but I think that probably leaked because it's like, okay, what are our options here? What do we get? What can we do? Right.
Well, I think that was part of the plan to begin with. That's what I'm saying. Sorry.
Oh, you think so? Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me. And I mean, as Paulie has told us,
how many movies are made in fucking Hollywood anymore? A small percentage. That's the thing that people don't want to fucking talk about, or at least in the Hollywood side of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Like, most of this stuff is made in Georgia, Canada, outside of the country. Hell, Andre's had more movies made in Norway in the last few years than they have in the U.S.
Pretty much, yeah.
Superman went to shoot there. Didn't Nolan went to shoot there, I think?
That was Iceland.
Iceland, close enough.
But
to us, it's the same fucking thing.
You remember Vancouver was big for a while. Prague.
Well, Canada has been huge. This is where television, and this is where we just did our video. And if you haven't seen this, kids, you should check it out. Bruce Campbell brought this point up, and he's 100% right. He's acting like, why are they acting like this is something new? They did this years ago.
Yeah.
Most shows now are made in Canada. They have been since the 80s.
He's so based.
The only thing I felt that he was wrong about was the writers. Well, yes, he's right in a certain aspect that the writers are influenced by certain people above, but make no mistake about it. Where do you think all these writers are coming from? The colleges that are breeding this shit. Why do you think we've got these writers are going that I'm being fired because I'm black? It's like, no, because you suck. You got fired from a fucking show that sucked because you are the worst writer in the room. I'm talking about that Batgirl writer now. Right?
Yeah.
Like you're literally on a show that is nothing more than a propaganda piece and you got fired. You can actually sit there and say that you got fired because you're black? Bitch, please. Right? Like, come on. Like that's somebody who tries to pretend to get thrown out of the fucking Special Olympics because they're too retarded or something. Give me a fucking break. Yeah. Right? Like this is stupid. Anyway, but my point is I think Ellison was going to plan on moving it out regardless.
Maybe so. But the Bonta just doesn't have a leg to stand on because he and nobody in California was saying anything about when Disney was buying up studios.
Exactly. The hypocrisy is so abound. Yeah. It's astounding. That's what
my whole industry is. It's shady and ugly, right? I mean, we enjoy some of the things they put out. Most of it we don't. And, let it burn. Let's see what happens. I mean, I hate it for all think about it now. And Bruce Campbell, I'm glad you brought that up, that video you guys did, because he talks about how I would hate to be a soundstage out there right now. I would hate to be a stuntman out there right now, because if you live out there and you've basically built your entire life about being part of the Hollywood industry, you're screwed. You're screwed. And this is only going to make Bonta and Newsom. I mean, this is going to screw Newsom's potential. He thinks he's potentially got a shot at being president. For every time I see him talk, I mean, he looks like a slick used car salesman. Like, what was the guy's name that worked with John McClane's wife in Die Hard that had the beard and was in there? Hey, Booby,
Oh, Ellison, or I think his name was Ellison too, actually.
I think it was Ellison. Yeah. He's got Ellison energy every time I see him on camera, right? So I don't know. It's just a weird industry, but is Ellison, are they going to move no matter what? Is Bonta going to move? Somebody's going to have to do something. So we got a game of chicken that's going to play out now for about the next 6 weeks. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is going to be an interesting, and we kind of predicted this was going to drag out because we knew certain parties were not going to be happy with this, and they're going to pull everything they can. I mean, shit, we even seen, what was it, the UK tried to pull some shit too or something?
They did, but they went ahead. They acquiesced also.
Yeah. So, like, again, I'm not surprised. I'm sure it'll end up going through eventually, but at this point, I feel like they're just making it worse for themselves because they're just giving him more of a reason to leave.
Well, hopefully Seth Rogen will do a reality series about it one day.
Maybe.
I kid.
All right, well, let's move on from there. We've got some super chats to get into. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Iron Morgan says, "Oh God" is also coming up on its 50th. That's true.
Oh wow!
Are you telling me?
George Burns.
Yeah. Are you telling me that Gen Z and Alpha are not crazy for George Burns and Don Denver like Tom Holland is?
I didn't know Tom Holland was a fan.
Didn't know, but I've said that they made a mistake and they should have made an Oh God remake years ago and had it be instead of doing Evan on Almighty, they should have just did an Oh God remake with Morgan Freeman.
Had
him play God,
and
then just picked somebody else to play the John Denver role, and it would have put it in that same universe because I think everybody loved him as God. I mean, he's just, and it's nothing to do with race or anything like that. He's just got that same type of thing that George Burns kind of had to him that I think works for him. And I think that would have been fun.
George Burns was a little surly and tongue in cheek, though. I mean,
he was sweet in those movies. That's the thing, except for when he was playing the devil, right? Like even his
Which
devil was a little
sequel.
sweet. But I mean, I don't hate the sequels either. They're not nearly as good as the first one. But that first movie is a really fun, cute movie. Carl Reiner directed it. For those who've never seen it, it's about a guy who works in a grocery store who gets a message from God. And of course, the last thing he wants to do is be a messenger for God. But then, of course, it blows up everywhere. And it's a really cute, fun film. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and check it out. But yeah, I'm just surprised they never jumped on that years ago. Instead, they did Evan Almighty. I was like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Another one from 77, Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, that's the thing is the Smokey and the Bandit would have been the biggest movie any year if it wasn't for Star Wars. People forgot how big that movie was when it came out.
Didn't Close Encounters come out the same year, or was that?
Technically, I think it was the very tail end of the year. It was in limited release, and then it's because it always gets tagged with 78.
You're right. So. Yeah.
But that was the bet that this is why Steven Spielberg gets money from Star Wars, even though he has nothing to do with it. It's because him and George Lucas made a bet. George bet that Steven's movie was going to do better than Star Wars, and Steven's like, oh no, Star Wars is going to kick the shit out of Close Encounters. And they bet points on the movies.
Oh, that's right.
And Steven won.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets money from Star Wars no matter what, just because.
For him.
I would love to be Steven Spielberg, who just gets a bunch of free money for nothing.
Oh,
Like his Universal deal was insane when I found out about that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Not only does he gets a piece of every movie that came out of Universal for X amount of years it was there. I don't even know if he still has the same deal or not. I don't think so since the DreamWorks deal, but
just think how desperate a studio would have been to keep him in their stable, though, right? It's
they
like
even let him play in other playgrounds. They're like, yeah, you can make a few movies over at Warner Brothers. Just make sure you keep coming back here and make movies.
Yeah, please keep making movies for us. Yeah.
We want to make Universal the home of Steven Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
And they were for many, many years. Anyway, that being said, it'd be an interesting remake if they did. Hyperguyver said with the upcoming release of Guyver 2 on Blu-ray, Steve Wang announced that with permission from Yoshiki Takaya, I'm sure I fucked that up, he's officially developing Guyver 3. Well, interesting. There you go.
Officially. Yeah. I'm sure he's been doing it for a while. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then Bass Player has another one for $4.99. Says, in regards to the Sony discontinuing physical media, do what you want because a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Well, I mean, if you don't own something you buy, then I guess piracy isn't theft.
Yep, I'm seeing it everywhere.
Look, I mean, this one lady who got busted walking out of Walmart with a bunch of groceries said, hey, I wasn't trained right. And you can't argue with that when you're the one checking out your own groceries.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the difference here is that if somebody's downloading a digital copy of something versus taking some bananas out of Walmart, the bananas are missing. The original game or movie you copied is not missing. It's still there.
And that's where they'll get into the whole, well, yeah, you may not physically have that banana, like you said, in one respect, but there's a lot of people putting in a lot of labor and there's money involved.
It's like sneaking into the movies. It's what it is.
It is technically, but at the same time, how many times do I have to pay for the same fucking movie?
Well, I'm sure you saw it going around, the guy that I think he had downloaded or had bought the Lord of the Rings trilogy and was complaining that it had been removed and he had paid the for sale price.
I lost over 200 titles on mine.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I think they're going to have to address this sooner or later because that meme, what you quoted, hey, if it ain't, if I don't own it when I buy it, then it ain't stealing when I pirate it. That's going around so much everywhere. I'm seeing it all over timelines on social media. I think they're going to have to address it and do some digital rights media downloadability on these movies before they take them off or something.
And they seem to forget that we don't live in the same world we used to when home video and music, for instance, and home media was a different animal.
Yeah.
Because we lived in a world where you actually had free access to a lot of this stuff. Maybe not at the time you wanted it.
Yeah.
Which we technically still do with YouTube in certain respects, but not everything, right? Like you can't watch an entire film unless it's licensed to YouTube without renting it or buying it, right? Like, so there's still that wall there of getting you between the thing you want and you can't have. And even when you are doing these purchasing, like I said, there's only been a few of these services where you actually get the physical, or at least in my opinion, not physical, but the actual download, right? Where it's a file you can actually access without using their proprietary app. Right. See, that's the other thing that bothers me is like, there's no movie that no movie place that you can go to that I know of that you can do that. I think Apple used to allow you to download digital copies, but they don't anymore is my understanding, or you can, but it's through their proprietary shit. Right. So that's the thing is like, you're still stuck in this limbo of like, well, I can't watch these things unless I either purchased or rented them, unless I buy a subscription through the service. So either way, you're still pumping money into this thing. And it's the same thing with music. It's the same thing now with movies and television. And television used to be free over the airwaves, right? Yes, you had to pay for cable television, but the networks were free. And now that's one thing I bitched about before is I can't even tune into a network for free because now that everything's gone HD digital, unless you're within 20 feet of the studio or the broadcaster, you can't get a signal.
Yeah.
And it ain't like it used to be back in the fuzzy days to where I could at least get a shitty black and white fuzzy version of the signal in from a station, 100 miles away. Now I got to be within 20 miles of it or I'm not getting anything.
Yeah, it's either on or off. No dimmer switch. It's do you have a signal or not? Nope. Fuzzy one.
And radio's the same fucking way.
Yeah.
And it started there because that's one reason why I never got into the radio services. It's like, why would I pay a service to listen to the same 5 songs I can listen to on the radio for free? Yeah. And at least I get a signal no matter where the fuck I'm at.
We still use an antenna for our stereo at home.
Well, yeah, like I go under a tree.
Rabbit ears with HD, but which we've got a little cottage up on the mountain nearby, and we don't.
Do you actually pull in anything?
Yeah, occasionally. But it's like the PBS and some of the networks we still can get up there, but we don't really go up there to watch TV anyhow.
Right?
So we got a DVD and Blu-ray player and a nice collection of all kinds of Twilight Zone.
That's what a lot of people are doing now.
Physical media. I mean, you're not going to go wrong with physical media. I think as long as you've got a good Blu-ray player or your video game system that will play Blu-rays, you're going to be fine.
Yeah,
a lot of people forget that.
3 is still going to rock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A lot of people forget that their game system will play movies in most cases.
You want 3 for sure. You don't want the new PlayStation. Yeah.
Well, the new PlayStation will play Blu-ray. Well, not the new one that's coming out.
I mean,
the one that the disc one does play Blu-rays, but
yeah, that's right.
Actually, I would say the Xbox did a better job. But anyway, Dark Hero fan says, "Rip to Reggie Bannister from the Phantasm films." Yes, we sadly lost a couple of great character actors this last week. The name escapes me now, but the man who played Man-at-Arms and He-Man also passed away in the original.
Yes, John Cypher.
John Cypher, thank you. I knew I couldn't.
In the original Man of Arms.
Yeah. Reggie was just short of 89, 79.
Yeah, and I think he's been wasn't he battling some illness for a while? I remember there was some talk about it.
He's had some health struggles, for a while. I don't know what they were though. Parkinson's.
Was it? Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, that's just too bad because the first Phantasm's amazing. Now the sequels. Another Don Crescarelli, however you say his name, Cursarelli. I can't. I'm not Italian. I don't fucking speak that shit. His other films are pretty good though. But I mean, it just and he's always had the actor. I can't remember the actor's name either now, sadly. But he's always going to be Reggie. But he had him in the one with Bubba Hotep and some other ones too. So he will be missed. Yeah. He played one of the orderlies in that. And then we got Francisco Sanchez Jr., who sends in 10 and says, I love hearing politics talk about being against monopolies. Bonta practically represents monopoly in a state with a Democrat supermajority government. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, the hypocrisy just smells so bad out of that.
It's very politicized.
Then DCB Titan says, I got fired because I'm black. No, you got fired because you're shite at your job, and proof is in you misspelled hired. Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah, that's a
then Tim Hayes has been here for 61 months. Thank you for that, Tim. That's a long time. That's almost as much time as we got to wait for the Batman 2. And I don't care. Other than that, it means I got to listen to people talk about it for that long. It's like,
yeah.
Willie the Monkey King says, greetings from New Zealand. The whole if I don't own it ain't stealing mentality is such BS. Read the TOS. Clearly spells it out. Well,
who reads the TOS? First of all, who reads the TOS? Most people don't.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, first of all. And not only that, when people exchange money for goods, they usually, and that's the thing, is they're basing this on their history of, I went to the store and I bought this copy of Shocker, right? I own this copy of Shocker now. This is my copy of Shocker. I can do it. Nobody's going to come and take this away from me. Nobody's going to alter it. Nobody's going to take the slut-shaming scene out of it. That is the entire arc of the film.
Yeah.
How can you let that go? Right? Like, that's the entire arc of the film.
Yeah.
People are forgetting this. This whole point of this movie is these people get sucked into this Leave It to Beaver world that's black and white.
Pleasantville.
Pleasantville, yes, to be clear. Yeah, where everything is black and white and like Leave It to Beaverville, right? Like, because nobody is corrupt. And then Reese Witherspoon comes in with her brother and corrupts the world.
Yep. She's the whole reason it turned color. Yeah.
Her sluttiness is what brought the color out.
Yep.
And now she's like, I'm going to stay here now that I fucked it all up. And that's the whole point of the movie. And they're cutting that whole line out.
It was wasn't it Scream Factory that did that? It's
the director. See, you can blame Shit Factory all you want, as much as I hate them. It's not them. It's the director who decided to do the same thing with fucking Manhunter.
Oh.
It's the directors who decide to do this stupid shit, just like with Crocodile Dundee. It wasn't like it was
all the way back to Lucas making
George
Greedo,
McClunky as well. Everybody's like, oh, Disney. No, it was not Disney that added that. George did that in 2000 and whatever fuck it was before, because he was going to release all the movies in 3D. So yeah, Disney's been sitting on all 6 of the Star Wars movies in 3D, and they've never released them.
Isn't that crazy?
Only ones that have gotten released was Episode 1, and it did actually pretty well in that release. So I don't know why they didn't do it, but they ended up showing Episode 2 at some fan event, and then they never showed Episode 3. And when they re-released them a couple of years ago, they didn't release the 3D versions in theaters where you could go see them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I didn't say that the Episode 1 3D version wasn't nothing to write home about anyway. It was just kind of like...
Still, it's a lot of investment to do that.
And they had promised that remember that big Skywalker box set that came out like 5 years ago? Mm-hmm. That was supposed to have all of the 3D Blu-rays in it. It did not.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know that.
Because that was the first time we were ever supposed to be able to, that was going to be one of the big selling gimmicks, I think. But then between the time they decided that and the time the movie came out, 3D Blu-ray had completely cratered. So yeah, I think there's been like 1 or 2 3D Blu-rays released since then. Like, maybe.
I get the mentality here that Willie's right. The TOS does explain.
Yes, it does explain it, but it's so much in the buried in not only that, it's in the backwards speak.
Yeah, it's just wrong. I mean, think about it for a minute. It's almost like saying, "Hey, we've got Lord of the Rings for you here. Yeah, you want to buy it? Great, thanks. That was $39.99. You now own the digital. Blah 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 blah." And then 5, 6, 8 years later, they come back and go, "Hey, we're no longer authorized to offer that. So, sorry, we're going to take it back from you because we no longer have the authority to sell it. You now are clawing back something that I paid for." I don't care what the TOS says. That's all kinds of wrong, and they need to address it.
Yeah. Well, not only that, you should be able to work it into the contract to where even if, and I think that like Amazon is like this.
Well, they do actually have it in the contract. They do make it clear. It is in the terms of service.
No. I'm talking about with the companies that they license the movies from. Okay, so let me get to my actual point here real quick, because like I've ran into situations where I've bought things on streaming before and they're no longer there available to buy again. Yeah, but they were still there until like that time when I fucked all my shit up with Vudu, and now I lost those movies. See, that's what happened to me, is that Vudu they had the rights to those movies. They no longer had the rights to sell them, but they were still on their database, right? Or I had access to it because I hate to break this to everybody, but 90% of the shit you watch is all coming from Amazon. They're the ones who are the hubs for most of the shit. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that being said, whatever. So like it was still there, so I still had access to it. But the moment I switched my shit or whatever it was over when they tried switching it, I no longer had access to it. So they couldn't give me that access back. So I basically lost the keys, in so many words, is basically what happened. And that's what's happening to some people. In some of these cases, though, they're literally just pulling them from the service altogether because whatever their license agreement was, that's what it states. Right? So that's what I'm saying. You should have worked this in with the license when you license these things out. But yes, you're only selling them from 2024 to 2027. But after 2027, you can still maintain it on your servers for those individuals who have bought it, that have the license for it. You just can't sell it anymore. See, that's what they should be allowed to do. That
I've got a documentary I put up on Amazon recently that shifted from a rent only to purchase only. I've even got Amazon purchases that I've bought that are no longer available on Amazon, but they're still in my library. But as soon as I cancel my Amazon or whatever, I don't have those. Right.
That's what happened to me, basically. Yeah.
And I think that's an okay compromise rather than just saying, "Oh yeah, we pulled those out of your library." What? I'm still subscribing to your service? This is ridiculous.
See, and all that happened to me was I was just changing my email address. See, because I had this, it was under an old ass email address that I never use anymore. So I'm like, just in case this thing gets shut off, can I switch it over? Because my because now that Vudu bought Fandango, my Fandango's under my more modern email address. can we just switch it over? And
You're
the lady I
trying to
was talking
merge.
to on the
Yeah,
phone,
right,
she's
right.
like, yeah, no problem. But they didn't alert me that once I did this,
She didn't know.
I was going to lose all these titles. And I went on for months dealing with this.
Oh, man.
And for a while they tried to like just they didn't even know what was missing and they couldn't even specify. So finally what they did to get rid of me was they just gave me $100 worth of credits. I'm like, do you realize that was thousands of dollars worth of movies though?
Yeah.
And some of them I probably never even watched. I never got around to watching them. But look, the majority of them were probably just codes that I'd gotten from the discs, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
Right. So like, it's just a matter of like, you didn't make me whole. That's for damn sure. And that's the thing, going back to the Lord of the Rings thing, Google refused to refund this guy. So that's the thing, is they'll never refund you anything. The most that I've seen anybody get out of it is free rentals. Like the fact that I got $100 credit, it was credit, by the way. It wasn't like they gave me $100 credit for Voodoo, right? Which bought me like 4 or 5 movies, I think.
Right.
Big
That's
deal.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which I think the last of it was spent on Michael, I think. So, which shows you how much I really buy movies on there very often.
Right.
But yeah, so anyway, let's keep moving along here. Thank you for that, Willie. I do understand that it is in the TOS, but they don't really specify how that works sometimes either.
Mm-hmm.
Like they may say that you could lose your content at any time because of licensing agreements and blah, 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 blah. But what person is going to read that and understand what that means? So that's the thing, is they have to make it more clear. And I think some of the more ever since Amazon, I think, got sued. Was it Amazon who got sued? Yeah.
About their
TOS? I think they've been getting more clear on that. But they won the case because of what you just said, Willie, is it was in there. But there was an argument made that it wasn't extremely clear. But D-Bud has been here for 63 months. He's got to beat Tim. He just had to come in 2 more months.
Yep.
Walter Tomaszewski says, doesn't Sony, etc., all rent shelf space at box stores? I'm not sure on that.
I've heard something about that. I couldn't say definitively, but maybe so, Walter.
In what respect, though? Like in the games or their electronics or?
Yeah, Sony kind of covers a lot of different areas.
That's a thing that people forget, and that's why I was trying to say earlier when they bought Columbia was like they weren't. It was not like they were an entertainment company to begin with.
Yeah,
they didn't even get into music until about that time too, right? Like so, like. Yeah, it's just they were just another company that made machines. They started out making, refrigerators and radios and whatnot, and then just move on to other things. M. Miller says Disney should release the extended versions of Star Wars prequels if they exist. That's George. He's the director. He decided what got into them or not. So I'm assuming if he ever wanted to release them, he would. I don't know how much is really available.
Yeah.
I mean, George is kind of one of those, that's the thing with like the original Star Wars is 90% of what was shot that was usable is in the movie, right? Like, I mean, there's only those couple of deleted scenes that like, there's, I think a whole of like 10 or 15 minutes of deleted scenes between the whole trilogy of the first film, maybe, if that. I think Empire probably has the most deleted scenes of all. But no, I don't know if there's really even an extended cut there to be made.
Well, the thing about those scenes that get deleted, John
they were
Williams
never finished either.
Yeah, John Williams doesn't score to the scenes that get cut out, right?
And they were never like that's the other thing about the prequels is everything was shot in front of green screen.
Yeah.
So they're just a bunch of green screen shots. You'd have to finish them all. I mean, not that it would be that expensive.
There may be one or two scenes. I think there's
a few, but not many.
Prequels, the second prequel, I think there's sort of a discussion when Padme goes and meets her family and she's talking.
Yeah, there's like a couple of scenes from each film, but they're nothing that is real beefy. Yeah. And I think he already added back in the whole pod race sequence. The version that we've had since the movie's been on DVD is that version. People forget that there was a shorter version of the movie in theaters. The version we have of Phantom Menace.
Short. No, it should have stayed short.
Yeah, no, the version of Phantom Menace we have now not just changed Yoda. He extended the movie. He added the whole race in there. So it's like a 15, 20 minute fucking sequence now.
Yeah.
Like, originally it was a little shorter.
Yeah.
So yeah, he tinkered with the first film for a while too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all of our super chats, and I think we are caught up on the Rumble side. Let me double check though. I didn't see anything pop
Right,
in.
while he's doing that, Chris, what you got going on over at Bleeding?
Yep, we
Fool?
got a couple from One Punch Fan that came in.
Yeah, pull it up. Let's get One Punch Fan in real quick.
Okay, he says, "Sing it, Chris."
Oh no, save Stargate.
There you go.
Yep.
And then One Punch Fan sent in $3 for my rant tax. Well, thank you for that. And then One Punch Fan says, so Bob Iger is trying to destroy the Lakers and get close to Trump. Well, I don't know about the latter, but I'm sure he'll help destroy the Lakers.
If you want to get close to Trump, you'd be better going into business with Jared directly rather than with his brother, who knows how close they are.
Right. And that's where I said that he might get a pass on this because who knows his brother? His brother could be a diehard Democrat for all we fucking know.
Exactly. We don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Over on Bleeding Fool, we've got a couple. Yesterday's Toxic Masculinity Tuesday. It's still up on the front page though. Looked at Mr. Holland's opus of all things. There was Toxic Masculinity in there.
There's a movie that hasn't been talked about in a while.
Yeah, and we celebrate it. Also, there is a news about that failed Star Wars idea that now they're turning it into its own original movie, and it's being done by the Paddington 2 team. And I've got a story up about Stan Lee's original X-Men. I'm sure you guys have heard, at least if you trail around the comics circles, that the X-Men were an allegory for racism or LGBTQ or the civil rights or whatever. And it's just not true. And we kind of break that down and what Stan Lee said about the origins of the X-Men. That's all at bleedingfool.com.
I'll tell you what he said. I got tired of coming up with crazy ways these guys became superheroes. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to make him a mutant.
That's it. You nailed it. He couldn't come up with any other creative ways. Getting bit by a radioactive spider.
I've done all the gamma rays and the radiated this and the mutated cosmic that. Rays, so why don't we just make them all mutants?
Magic. Yeah. So just mutant. Yeah. And we kind of get into that a little bit in the history of it. It's pretty interesting for fans. So check it out, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was just because he got tired of writing so much or so many different origin stories for these characters is basically what it was.
Well, the publisher was taking Marvel Comics was starting to take off. I'm sure he was getting busy.
Yeah. Anyway, Andre, I'm sure we'll have a video or two coming before too long.
We will. I'm already working on the next one.
Awesome. You know, it's funny about Mr. Holland's Opus. That movie came out at a time where it actually portrayed a man from a completely different era up through, the later part of his life. And it didn't make excuses for any of his bad behavior, but it also had him atone for it, right? Like he wasn't a great guy.
No.
But by the end of the film, he addresses the things that he did wrong. And the end of the film, it just really kind of brings it all together. It's a very under-talked about film. I thought it was very well.
Oh, yeah. Richard Dreyfuss just did a tremendous job in it. He is really one of our great actors. We should probably is a little underappreciated these days. But,
oh, yeah. Well, it's because his politics aren't in the right place. That's
right. I think Victor does a great job handling. It's his review of the movie and our Toxic Masculinity Tuesday. We just kind of celebrate, what is no longer celebrated in Hollywood these days, or at least a lot less than it used to be.
Well, according to Yiddish here, Joshua is a lib, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot more sense. Well, and you guys did a great John Oliver video, right? About it kind of humiliating DC, I guess, right?
Well, I found it's funny is that he went after the whole gambit. He didn't just go after James Gunn, but yeah.
Right. Well, it's easy pickings, really, when you go back to things like
there's low-hanging fruits at this point.
Yeah.
It is. And, just to kind of poke the bear a little bit, all those kids that are freaking out over Zack Snyder having a screening at Warner Brothers. You realize Patty Jenkins did the same thing. Yeah. And no, this is not a sign that they're coming back to do anything. I'm not saying that it never would happen, but come on, guys. Seriously.
Hey, look, Marvel is mashing up Star Wars and Marvel Comics. So crazy things are known to happen, right?
Look, I got to remind people again and again and again. It would take 3 to 5 years to get this thing back off the ground again, even if they didn't. And that's if you even get half the people back. And who would want Ezra Miller and Amber Heard back?
Could you imagine, though, if they did a crossover between the Gunn and the Snyder universe, a movie?
They kind of did already with Peacemaker in a weird way.
Well, they're going to do it again because here's the thing. Like coalitions on multiple Earths or whatever have
there you go.
Either back
Crisis.
That's how you do.
Well,
it.
anyway, I was going to make a fun point, not to get all gun happy.
And I'd
again,
sooner
though,
see
but
Jared Leto return as the Joker than as Skeletor.
I don't know about that. No, I don't want any Jared Leto anything anymore.
No.
But my point is no matter how much Supergirl has lost, it will have never lost as much as the Justice League lost twice.
Mm. Yeah, it's one of their worst performing films.
People forget that it lost so much money the first time out, and then they gave him another $90 million to sink into a fucking sinking ship. Where is the proof that made any money?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It only mustered up a measly $19 million in video sales compared to the $38 million in video sales that the original version of Justice League did. So again, as bad as James Gunn is doing, you can even add Suicide Squad into that mess. And he still ain't lost Warner Brothers much money as Zack Snyder did between Batman v Superman and the Justice League. Sorry.
In the Harley Quinn movie, and there's been so many.
Well, that's spun off or whatever. But my point is just between those two movies alone, how much they cost and how much they ended up costing the studio at the end of the day. That's not just in the fact that, look, let's be real. BVS and Justice League were the reason that DC can't make $1 billion anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Aquaman. And Aquaman was one of the few rando,
I have no idea how they managed it.
Because it came at the right time, the right place, the right actor. It was the height of the superhero craze. It was truly the rising tide lifts all boats. That movie is a grand example of it.
And James Wan was at his peak. I mean, at the time, as far as all the horror movies he'd been doing. So he had a great name.
And it was an anomaly. It was almost like the gods, speaking of Entourage, said, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to make Aquaman $1 billion just because.
Revenge or something here.
Yeah, really. It was like, what the hell? Why not? The last one you'd ever expect.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that being said,
going back to our Entourage days,
well,
right?
that's what I was saying. Is that's the whole reason they let them use Aquaman and Entourage, because they're like, we'll never make an Aquaman movie.
Right.
Never. Not only that, it'll never be a hit. Fuck that.
Yeah.
They couldn't even get an Aquaman TV show off the ground for how many years they tried. Remember that? What was it, 2 or 3 times?
They had a pilot. Yeah, they had a pilot show for it. Yeah.
You can see it on one of the Smallville disc releases because it was one of the actors that was on there. I think was playing the role, even though he wasn't the guy that played him on the crossover. I think it was the guy who ended up playing Arrow. Was it not? If I'm not mistaken, I think so.
I think it's watch that Aquaman.
Amel.
I think it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is his name? Something Amel. The guy who plays Steven, thank you. I think he plays Aquaman in that pilot.
You might be right, yeah.
But the guy who played Aquaman from Justice League didn't play him in that pilot, even though it's supposed to be a spin-off of that show. But yeah. Anyway, that being said, let's move on here. It's time to close her down. I think we got all of the Rumble rants. We got one more come in the meantime. Nope, that's the same one. It's the one about the Lakers. Never mind. We got that. Thank you. Thank you so much for your donations, guys, and your support. We appreciate it. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Check back later for more videos. If not today, tomorrow for sure. Andre, anything else?
No, you summed it up pretty nicely. So,
he did? I thought he did.
So, let's bring on the koalas.
Oh, it was Justin Hartley.
That's right. Thanks, Willie.
Koalas.
Koalas in the
Aqua
rain.
koalas.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koalas in the rain.